How do you become a six-figure hair extension stylist? That is what we are talking about today.
And so with on stage, the weft, oh my God, I watched a friend of mine, Brad Swift. I watched a guy who is so super successful. He's a hairdresser with a lot of clients, making a good living because he owns the salon, also sending all his extension clients to this influencer celebrity stylist that lives in California, but comes to his salon and works a week every 6 weeks in Texas. And she would charge so much money, and even did his own wife's hair. And he saw my technique, and he saw me at a hair replacement class and said, now I'm seeing you everywhere on the internet. What is up with this extension technique you do? I'm sending clients to this other lady. Maybe I should be doing them. I said, you should, Brad. It's so freaking easy. He said, well, I've always seen extensions as super time consuming, hard to sell, damaging. I said, right. And they have been all of those things at different times. And there's a whole lot of them that still are, and a whole lot of hairdressers that are still giving us a bad name in the extension world. But for you, if I told you, I said, as a matter of fact, I'm going to Dallas, just a few years ago. Where do you live? He's in Midland. He said, it's a 4-hour drive. I said, meet me in Dallas at Ali's Salon, and I and you will do your wife's hair. We'll take her hair out. We'll put them in. She had hand-tied wefts in. She had 4 wefts on one row. It was the first time I saw so many. I've seen as many as 7 now. So we took those 4 out. Now I just kept taking one after another out. And I said, wow, why so many on one row? And that was my first knowledge of the way things are done now. Like, people are too lazy to put 2 or 3 rows in because it took them so long to get the one row in. I know I'm going on my soapbox here, that they don't want to put a second and third row. And that's why they all curl their hair, because they can't cut it or blend it, because they don't put the proper placement pattern in. And I know I covered a lot there. But with Brad, we take them all out, get her hair clean, and we make 2 rows of the onstage weft. And I mean, it took us longer to take out and clean up that crappy mess she had on her head than to put the onstage in, because it was about 7 to 10 minutes for each weft. So in like 30 minutes, we've got 2 wefts in, and she's saying, oh my God, this is so comfortable. It's actually so comfortable, and I hate to use the word loose, but compared to a tight braided tied in technique just before that, she was worried they weren't in right, or too soft and loose, too comfortable. They were going to fall out. She said, are you sure? Are you sure they're right? I mean, this, Brad, I don't even feel it. This, is it going to stay in? I said, yes. And so it changed his complete career. I mean, so much so that he became our top extension buyer in the whole country over the next year or 2. It was crazy because he could just pop extensions in like that. So now I say, if I knew everything I knew and things were the same and I was starting scratch right now, I would start with the O-tips, which beaded strand, beaded wefts, O-tip weft, O-tip weft, O-weft. Is that what we call it? The O-weft. I don't know why it's not it's just not flowing off my lips correctly right now.
You need to take a breath is what
O-tip.
You need to do.
No, O-tip. That's what it is. The O-tip. So I'm serious. No, if I were to start right now, if I could give somebody advice, if they would freaking listen, I feel like Marty McFly in Back to the Future. You're going back and you're telling people, no, if you just do this, your life will be better. I swear. And they won't listen. They just won't listen. 2 wefts and a pack of strands. You can do it all in 30 minutes and somebody's hair will be beautiful. They'll be happy. You'll be happy, and you'll make a lot of money. Well, let me think about it. Yeah.
That is the beauty of what's going on nowadays, is that there are so many options in comparison to what we had coming up. There wasn't many options when I was coming up either. There was more than what you had, but there wasn't that many more than what you had.
Right.
And I was just all over the place. Whatever somebody wanted, I was just excited to do hair. So whatever somebody would ask for, I would immediately go figure out how to do that technique. And I think in the beginning, looking back on it now from an educational perspective, it was a great decision that I had made, because it opened up my knowledge base to everything and everything under the sun. But it did hold me back because I was always chasing after whatever somebody asked for or whatever I thought was popular. And I didn't just start focusing in on something that felt good. I definitely had some favorites more than others, but I was painstakingly doing some of the ones I didn't like because they were popular, just because they were popular. So I love your direction with what you were talking about with all of that, because it totally makes sense. And nowadays, yeah, I found my favorite. I stuck with my favorite for a very long time. And then when you hit me with the O-tip, this new revolutionary thing, I was like, you know what, man, I never want to deal with the weft ever again. But when you showed it to me, I'm like, you know what? Okay. Okay. It was, wefts were one of the things that I didn't necessarily enjoy gluing in all the time. But
Right.
now being able to use the O-tip bead technique, it simplifies things so much more. I'm like, I'm all in. Now I have two favorite techniques in the keratin bonds and now in the wefts. Now I can actually do wefts again. And being able to do 2 wefts in a pack of strands. I mean, you want to talk about banging out a whole hair extension in less than an hour.
So stupid.
You know, the same amount of time it takes you to do a foil with the processing time, and now there's no more processing time. Yeah, it's fun. It's so much fun.